live on Google, but I don't know if you can see this or not.
Hold on, let me go into the other link.
Turn camera, no, turn camera on. So there's just a picture of me with my voice going. Why, I don't understand why there isn't a picture of me on there. So I'm thinking, if I can't work this out, what I'm going to do is just record a Skype chat.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best idea.
We had a girl that joined us from, annoyingly, there's someone that has actually joined us for the call. We have one person. Screen share, no, it's not screen share. Why can't? So I've got invite people, then it's just got this, like the link. So, well, I'll do it in a minute. I'm sorry about this. Oh, when I read it, it looked fairly straightforward. I've just sent you a link. Just try that.
This one looks better.
What I don't get. Oh, here we go. So you've joined now, but we can't see each other.
No, hang on, let me.
Oh, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? I've ended the Skype call, so we stopped the echo.
I've ended that now, yeah. So let me quit Skype. It's saying turn so the camera. There's no camera. Why is there not a camera? Do you know why?
That's a good question. You got the option up the top to enable it.
Yeah, it says, if I go over, it says mute microphone or turn camera off.
Yeah.
So now if I turn it off now, yeah, there's nothing, or I turn it on and it's, wait a minute, we're live. Are we live? We're live, I think. I don't know if anyone else can even get into this though.
Oh, I can see you.
Can you see me now, Guy?
Yes.
Yeah? Right, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to record. Right, I think we're there. Okay. Bear with. I think we're there. Guy, can you hear me okay? Guy, are you there? Right, I can't hear you now, mate.
Can you hear me now?
Guy, yes, wait a minute, I can hear you now.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, perfect. Okay. What I've done, I've started recording this on Camtasia. So if this is messing up, then we've got it covered anyway. Okay, so I will edit the start of this. I really want people to join in, but I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just gonna run with it.
Let's just
what it is now. Let's just go with it. Okay.
Yep.
So Guy, thank you for joining me. What I'll do is I'll do a bit more of an introduction. So this is Hugh from Financially Free by 40. Thank you for joining me today. And I'm joined with Guy from Early Retirement Guy, and now his new blog, Match Betting Guy. Guy was someone I did Kindle coaching with last year, and he's introduced me to match betting. And since starting in November last year, he's earned, I think, just shy of £8 grand, £7,900 in 6 months. So if you average that out, it's about £1,300 a month. And I mean, there's some staggering figures. That's tax-free earnings on the side whilst he's working full-time. So I've been talking to Guy since he's been doing Kindle, and he's been telling me about his success here. It's something that I tried recently, the last month, but I think there are a lot more people out there that can dedicate more time than I can and benefit from match betting. So this is what I've set up today. I want to ask Guy some questions. I'm going to put this video out on my YouTube channel, and hopefully you can give people a bit more of an insight about what match betting is, the good, the bad, the ugly, and then hopefully some other people can give it a go and benefit to the level that Guy has. So thanks for joining me, Guy. You're still there, right?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, perfect. So I just wanted to start off. My first question was just if you could just give a really brief introduction to yourself and how you got into match betting.
So I'm Guy. I started writing Early Retirement Guy about 2 years ago now. Similar story to expect most people. Just decided he didn't want to work all the way until sort of 60. About 6 months ago, I'd got my expenses dead low. And I think, that's really what the focus was on all the personal finance community, was all hitting the expenses. I got it really low, and then I started to realize I've got to get the income up. It's a bit of a two-pronged attack. And I was reading Hugh's site, and I saw that he'd hammered the income. He'd absolutely hammered the side income, nailed it. I thought, so what could I do on the side? And it sort of happened that I was at a university reunion back in September. I got chatting to a guy there, and he said, I pay all my rent through match betting. I thought, all right, here we go, some gambling scheme. And he's like, no, honestly, it's totally legit. I signed up for this site. I paid £150 access to it, and I've made, I'm making about £300-400 a month. I thought, wow, that is amazing. If I can make a spare £300 or £400 a month, I'll be cruising. And then it just took off from there. I made £300 in the first week, in last week of October, then about 900 in November, then about 1100 in December. And I mean, just even in March, I made over £2,000. April was about £1,600, and I've already made £450 so far this first week of May. So yeah, it's really taken off.
See, so you can understand why you've done it. So you got into it because you say a mate would just suggested it.
Yes.
So I think, because I know the story, but if you could just go into a little bit. I'm right in saying, especially prior to doing Kindle and doing match betting, you were like a real cautious guy, and you hadn't gambled at all, or not very much.
I think the most I'd gambled was buying lottery tickets, which I still get slated for every now and then by people like me on Suffolk. But that was it. That was literally the only form of gambling I've been. I'd never stepped foot in a bookie before. I'd never signed up for a gambling website. I'd never watched a horse race before, and I'd only ever watched the international football games. I had no interest in sport really, and no interest in gambling. So yeah, extremely cautious.
So what made you take the plunge to go and give this a try then?
So honestly, if I hadn't had the recommendation from someone who I knew and trusted, I'd probably never even tried it. I'd heard about match betting years ago, back when I was at university, but it always you always think, it's too good to be true. There's no way you can get money risk-free online. It's just not possible. So I looked up a lot of guides online before I actually took the plunge. And the way I started and the way I recommend other people start is I signed up for one of the websites. I've got two that I sort of recommend and that I've used, and they really do just sort of hold your hand through the first couple of bets. They show you the maths. You play around with the calculators beforehand, and then you think, what, actually this could work. I'm gonna take the plunge, start off with a little bit of money, and then just sort of reinvest all your income so you're building up your bank.
Okay, so it was really the not the nudge from a friend that he was telling you about it, but just the fact that he was able to show you in a little bit more detail what it's about to give you the confidence to give it a go. Yes,
and he was able to show how much he'd made, repeatedly through the first. I think he'd been doing it about 6 months at that point, and that's part of the reason why I publish my income, so I can show other people, the sort of amount you could be earning, and that it is sustainable as well. It's not just a one-hit wonder. You can keep doing it month on month.
And so, just out of interest, what did he earn in that similar time frame?
So he was earning about 300 a month averaging.
Right.
So he was doing all right, but he was only doing it really Saturday afternoons. He said he'd literally watch a Saturday afternoon horse racing and football, and he'd do it for a few hours every Saturday. And that's all he wanted. All he wanted to do was just cover his rent payment. He wasn't, really hammering it. And I thought it was going to be the same when I started. And then I just thought, well, what I'm only doing it on Saturdays, I could do it on a Sunday as well and double the amount, or I could do it on a Monday evening and get another £50, and it just took off from there, really. Okay, well, I mean, I'm going to come on to this because I think that's one question that people are interested in. How much time do you actually spend doing this? So I want to come into that, but before I do, I want to just cover like the basics. So, can you just briefly tell me, because I know it's quite complicated, but what is match betting? So match betting is where you're mostly taking advantage of special offers given out by the bookmakers. So as an example, one would be if you place a £10 bet, we'll give you another free £10 bet. And what you're doing is you're placing that £10 bet with the bookmaker. You're then placing what's called a lay bet with another bookmaker, which is the complete opposite bet. So the two bets cancel each other out. One will win and one will lose, no matter what the outcome is. So you won't win any money, you won't lose any money with that first bet. But you then got that free £10 bet that they're giving you afterwards to make money off of.
Okay, and that's where you get your profits from.
That's where you get most of your profits from. Yeah, so yeah, you keep on doing these sort of offers where if you place a bet, we'll give you some free money or we'll give you a free bet, and that's how you do it risk-free. Is no matter what the outcome of that first bet, you're not going to win anything, you're not going to lose anything, but then you are given a completely free bet.
Okay. Now, my third question, which I think you've kind of answered as well there, but we can maybe use some other examples, which was, can you just provide a real straightforward example of match betting and how you'd go about making money? So if you, now I'm right in saying that it's not just all about a sporting event, like a football match or a horse race. There are other ways as well that you can make money. Like there's the common ones, signups, and also there's like some casino offers. So could you just give us a couple of examples just to let people know what options you have?
So you've already touched on the sign-up offers. Those are the most common and they're the easiest, and almost every single online bookmaker does it. But you've also got things like the casino offers. So there'll be a site where it'll be, if you place a £10 bet, we'll give you a free £10 to use on our casino. So you're placing the first £10 bet as a matched bet, so you're not making anything, you're not losing anything, but then you've got £10 free to use on their slot machines, which, I mean, you could hit the jackpot and get £100 out of that, for instance.
Okay, and how risky is that though, Guy, going on those casinos?
So casinos, always, if you were to play a casino slot machine indefinitely, you would always lose money mathematically. You know, just the more you put in, the more you're going to lose. But because they've given you the £10 free credit to begin with, it makes it completely risk-free. You're either you could hit the jackpot on one of your first spins, or you could bust out of that £10, but it doesn't matter because you've been given that £10 for free anyway. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose that initial free £10 they give you. But 1 time out of 10, you're going to hit a nice early big win, and then you just withdraw the whole lot and you've made 100 quid.
Okay. Now, I think you were saying as well, there are some options where you can do. There are risk options. So you've just gone through a risk-free one where you sign up, you've got 10 quid or 10 spins or whatever, and if you don't get it, you get your money back. But there are options where, am I right in saying that they kind of, there is a risk element to it as well? Maybe, you know, if you wanted to try that out and you were a bit more risk, a bit less risk averse.
Yes, so there'll be some offers where, on casino offers mostly, where you have to put in £10 of your own money and then they will match it with another £10. So you've got £20 in the casino, but you've got to play it through a certain number of times before you can withdraw any winnings. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to play it through the required number of times and still be left with anything over your initial £10 deposit. So if you finish it with £15, you've made £5 profit there. Obviously, there's a chance you could do 21 spins straight away and not win a penny, and you've lost your £10. But you only go into these offers where you've got the mathematical advantage. So you know that the slot machine is going to pay out 97% of the time. You've only got to roll it over twice. So you know you're going to play that £20 twice free. Mathematically, you're going to end up with about £18 at the end of it. You're going to pocket £8 profit. That's it on a very simple terms. Obviously, some of the offers are much bigger, like deposit £200 and we'll give you £200, and there's calculators online to work out whether it's worthwhile doing or not.
Okay, so I mean, it all sounds great, and I remember when you first talking to me about this, I thought, well, yeah, there must be some like hang-ups to it. So you've been doing it for 6 months now. I'm sure it's not all like roses and flowers and everything. There must have been some challenges that you encountered. So can you just share some of the more negative aspects of match betting? What challenges you've come up against? What things have held you back, and what would be perhaps quite useful for people watching is how you manage to overcome those.
So, I mean, to start with, you've got to be absolutely meticulous in your record keeping. You've got to be good with spreadsheets. You've got to record where every single penny goes, because otherwise you're going to lose track of things. So you might place a bet and then forget you've got that free bet to use, and it will expire after 7 days. So you've got to be hot on keeping track of all of your numbers. The other thing is you've got to make sure you're doing the calculations correctly. What you don't want to do is place a bet on one team and then place a lay bet on a completely different match because you've mistook a match or something like that, and in which case you're actually gambling. So you've really got to follow the process meticulously. I know some people get a bit carried away with the gambling element on it sometimes, so they'll do the £10 risk-free casino offer. They'll use up their £10 and then they'll think, oh, you know what, I'll just do a couple more spins, and then before you know it, you've blown your way through £50 or £500. So you've got to be absolutely rigid in your knowledge that you're not going to gamble. You're going to do the offers and only the offers. You're not just going to have a cheeky £10 punt on Manchester United, because if there's no offer attached to it, you're just gambling. So there's no reason to do it. There's no long-term profit in it.
Well, as a Man United fan, I think it's less of a gamble because they're sure to win. But I take your point for the purpose of these videos. I've actually wanted to share a couple of things because I've only been doing it for like a few weeks, like less than a month. And 3 things that I messed up on. One, I think you've mentioned all of them. First one, I didn't make a note that I had something like 4 days to put the free bet on, and I didn't put it on in time, and I lost that opportunity. So I'd put the money down, I'd covered myself, so it cost me about 50p or something to cover it, but I didn't benefit from the free tenner or the 20 quid off the back of it because I'd left it too long. Secondly, I put a bet, say less than or both teams to score, and then I put a lay bet on both teams to score again. I wasn't careful enough, so I basically put 2 bets on the same one, and I ended up losing twice the amount of money because the bet didn't come in. So that cost me as well. I was just thinking if there was another one that I'd messed up on. I'm sure that, and I think the odds as well, because in your lay account, if you're betting for Man United to win, and then you have to bet on the lay account, the second account, for Man United not to win. And there was a certain circumstance, I think maybe in a horse race, where the odds were actually quite high. This horse was very unlikely to win. Where I put the bet on them to win and to lay against them, I didn't have enough in my lay account to cover that bet. So I put the first bet on. I'd had to cover the second half of the bet with half the amount of money. It ended up that it was okay for me because the profit was basically half of what it should have been. So I didn't lose money on that occasion, but I think, from listening to what you've just said, I think you're spot on. And I think from my advice, from maybe not listening to you as thoroughly as I should have to start with, is that just to go steady, go slow, do one at a time. Don't kind of overdo it and don't rush it, because I've got all these other things I'm trying to do, trying to squeeze in a quick bet in, quarter of an hour, and that's when mistakes happen.
Yeah, absolutely, and you've just got to pay attention to it. You really have. It's not something that you can do if you've got kids running around screaming behind you, or if you've had a few alcoholic drinks, for instance. You've got to, clear your mind. Say, right, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to do this for an hour. I'm not going to get distracted. And
nail it.
Yep.
Okay. Next question: are your earnings legit? I mean, they're staggering. £8,000 in 6 months. That's unbelievable. Come on, you put it on? Exaggerating? Making it up?
Well, it is a high topic, and I only actually totaled up the amount I'd done over the 6 months when I started the Match Betting Guy site. I've always kept the records, but I keep them on a month-by-month basis because that's how I publish my income and expenses on Early Retirement Guy. So I thought, I'm going to start this new site, and I need a headline. And I thought, let's have a look. Let's actually sit down. I had a rough idea how much I'd made. But I was about £2,000 short. I thought I'd made about £5,000, and we're almost up to £8,000 now. So it is legit. If you go back and you look over my expenses reports, that's a great thing. Keeping a record of my expenses and incomes is you can look back from when I very first started and reported it in October, November time, and you can see it month by month. Just get out a calculator and you can see that it all totals up. Totally fine. I also keep records of every single bet I place, so I can go back and have a look. And I was hoping we might be able to show you one of the spreadsheets from last month, and you'll be able to see how all that money all totals up. It might be £20 here, it might be £50 there, but it all totals up to give you that big headline figure at the end of the month.
So I suppose we'll just have to take your word for it then.
Well, if you sign up to one of these guide sites that I use and you look at the number of offers that are on there every day, and you think, you just have a quick scan, you think, right, well, that offer's worth £10, that offer's worth 20, and that offer's worth 50. You average it out over a month, 30 days. Every day you're going to be making £50, for instance, if you've done every single offer that was available. that's where you're going to get your £1,500 at the end of the month. It's just basic mash. You know, it all averages out. And you know, my figure is small compared to some people who've been doing this a while. So on one of the groups I'm a member of, people are posting when they pass the £25,000 mark. So, you know, it might seem like a lot in 6 months, but I'm small fry compared to, you know, people who've been doing it for a long time now, and they're making huge amounts.
Yeah, I mean, how long has it taken some people to hit that 25K? That's a year's salary for some people.
Well, I know people do it in a year. So I don't hit every single offer, so I won't do some of the big casino offers where you have to spend £200 and I'll give you £200 and you got to roll it over, you know, a certain number of times, because it's, even though mathematically it should still give me a profit, I'm not quite at the stage where I want to risk that much money in one go. But these are the people who they're hitting every single offer, and because they've been doing it a while, they're getting promoted to like the VIP section of the betting websites. So they actually get more offers because they've been betting more. You know, they've been taking money out of the bookies, but they're effectively rewarding them for being loyal customers.
Okay, so it can pay you even more if you know, further down the line. So it's not, you know, I think it's one of the questions that comes that I'll come to later. But do you run out of offers? And you know, once you've done the initial signups, is that it? That you know, you're suggesting in that case there are some offers that come through, and it can be, you know, sustainable.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, once you've got your account set up, you'll just realize just how many different bookmakers there are out there. And they're not all doing offers, you know, every single day. But if each bookmaker only does one offer a week and there's 50 bookmakers or 100 bookmakers, that's several a day just spread out between them all. And because you've already got the account set up, it's very quick. You just log into your account and hit that offer and then log back out again. You've done it in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I'm going to I'll come on to another point. I was going to bring something else up there, but there was a question from someone on my blog, guy, and I'm really sorry if I get their name wrong. I think it's Grain Lennon. Sorry if I've said that wrong. They've asked, how can you tell if you've made any real money when your cash is so spread out? And they've asked another question, which does Skrill help with this? So if you've got all this money in all of these accounts, like you said, maybe 20 bookmakers, how do you know if you've made any real money?
So I keep everything spread out in 2 spreadsheets. So I've got one spreadsheet where I record every single bet and the profit and loss from the bet. And then I have another spreadsheet which records all of my accounts and how much money is in each of those accounts. And in theory, the total profit in both of those should always equal the same. So if you make £20 profit on a bet, that £20 must go into an account somewhere. So you up £20 on your profit spreadsheet, you up £20 on your account spreadsheets, and then the two equal, and you can just total up the column and it shows you your profit, you know, as the headline figure at the end of the month. So you can see it going up. I record every time I put money into a bookmaker, record every time I take money out of a bookmaker. And in theory, those two numbers should be different. I should be putting in less than what I'm taking out, which gives me my profit difference.
Right, okay. And what I'll do, Guy, I don't know if you're able, because I messed up this Hangout already. There's no way I'm going to do like a screen share right now and mess this up. So what I might ask from you is if we can provide the guys with a link to a spreadsheet with some just example bets on there to get people started. I'll drop that on my blog and also my YouTube channel so people got some kind of frame of reference of what to use. Would you be happy to help me out with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll sort of simplify one of mine because otherwise it's going to be, mine are about 10,000 lines long for some months. So I'll cut one down and then I'll give you an example one.
Perfect. Okay, I think that'd be really useful. The latter half of the question was, does Skrill help with this?
So for people that don't know, Skrill is like an online money bank, a bit like PayPal. It can help you because you effectively got all your money in one place, but I prefer just to use a dedicated bank account for it. So I have a brand new bank account. I put £200 in there to start with, and then that's completely ring fenced. All my money comes out of that account and all my money goes back into that account. So I always know how much I've made because it's all in that account. And then at the end of every month, I just skim off everything off at the top and transfer it into my own personal account. So I've kept the cash flow in one account and I know how much I've made at the end of every month.
So from the person that asked about Skrill, does it help with this? Is there a cost to using that service like PayPal?
I think Skrill has a charge when you deposit money to it. The thing with Skrill though is a lot of the bookmakers don't like it because they know that the match bettors use it a lot. So some of them will have very small print terms which say that you're not eligible for the offer if you use Skrill, because they're wanting to attract normal customers who are just going to place normal bets. They don't want to attract the match bettors who they know use Skrill a lot.
Okay. Well, thank you for your question for Graham. I hope I got your name right. Question 8. No, I've asked that. How do you record everything? So we'll give you an example of that. Question 9. Now, this is something that I'm intrigued about, and I know a lot of people will be. How much time and effort do you really put into this every day? I don't know if you've got set hours that you set aside, but can you just run through what you spend on a day?
So, I mean, there's no set hours. It entirely depends on what the offers are on that day. So normally Saturdays are the busiest, and that could be anything from 2 to 6 hours. Evenings, probably only maybe an hour or two in evenings. So it completely depends on the offers. So, for instance, yesterday evening, I think I was doing it for about 3 hours, but I made about £120 out of those 3 hours. So
that's a good wage.
It was worthwhile doing. Yeah, it was a good use of time. So, and the thing I found though is it was time that I wasn't doing anything anyway. You know, it be at the weekends. Most people, you might go out, but to be honest, most people probably just sit around on the computer and read forum posts or watch TV. So it's time that I wasn't being productive with that time anyway. So to me, it wasn't really a loss of time.
I mean, I think you brought up a really interesting point there, because I get this about Kindle as well, with people saying, how much time do you do it? And are you just working on it 24 hours a day? Well, I mean, no, I'm not. I'm not putting anywhere near as much time as I could be putting into it. It's down to what else are you using your time in and whether you enjoy it, I suppose. Like, I've talked to you about this and you've said that you really enjoy it. You like, you know, this is like almost a real life computer game for you, where you get to stick in your money and see it coming out, and you get to record that, and that makes you feel good. So you want to keep doing it. You want to keep progressing and see what you can earn. So you choose to do that rather than watching TV, you know, reading blog posts or something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but everyone has a choice of how we spend our time. We all have the same amount of hours in a day. But you're suggesting maybe, you know, a couple hours in the evening, and maybe on the Saturday, the big day, you might spend like 2 to 6 hours, like half a day, to earn the money that you're earning now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the thing to remember with match betting as well is it is definitely one of the ones where your earnings are directly linked to the amount of time you put into it. So, for instance, my friend who only wanted to earn £300 just to cover his rent only put in a couple of hours a week, and he was happy with that. Whereas if you want to, you know, hit it as hard as I am, you know, people might not want to do that, and that's totally fine. If you do want to do that, you can make more with the more time you put in. So you're entirely up to you what you want to do and how much effort you want to put into it, and your income will be as a result of the amount of time you put into it.
Will reflect that. I mean, look, my next question is linked to this, because I was thinking, right, you know, because I know you do spend a lot of time on it. Let's say if someone just has 30 minutes a day. I mean, most people can probably put that, let's say even quarter of an hour, 20 minutes a day. I mean, how much do you realistically think someone can earn with that? I know you've got your buddy as an example, but if you've got someone doing it every day, perhaps they could even earn more than what your mate was earning. But what are your thoughts on that?
So half an hour a day, I reckon you could probably, so just for the sign-up offers alone, you could probably get through one sign-up offer for every half an hour, and each one of those would maybe give you £20-30 profit. So what's that? It's about £140-150 a week, maybe. So £600 a month, £500 a month, I reckon.
So I think, you know, I asked that question. I thought, why not just use me? Because I haven't put that much time into this. I wouldn't say I spend 30 minutes a day on it. I mean, maybe quarter of an hour, if that. There are some days I don't do anything. I try and do one every day. That's my little benchmark. Just put one bet on, because it's so easy. It's money sat there. And I earn 400 quid. But that was from when I was learning it and starting out in my first month. And I went a few days, like I went those 4 days and I lost my free bet, you know, so I didn't do anything on it. So yeah, that was I think 420 odd quid. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but yeah, so realistically, if you think 30 minutes a day, a little bit more than what I was doing, you could earn maybe close to £600. So you're looking at maybe a mortgage or something. I mean, that's a big chunk of money, isn't it? 600 quid. Big
chunk of tax-free money as well. You got to think you'd have to be earning about £800, £1,000 worth of your salary that month, you know, after tax, to be making £600 tax free, the equivalent of. The other thing as well is you get quicker. The more you do it, you get much quicker at working out the calculations and working out which offers are worthwhile doing. So, for instance, there might be an offer where it's a £5 completely risk-free. They give you £5 to spend on their casino. You've got to spend on a casino, but anything you win, you take home. You could literally log in and do one £5 spin. It'll take you 20 seconds, and anything you win, you take away. If you don't win anything, you don't take anything away. But you will get quicker, much quicker at it.
Your doorbell.
Yeah, well, hold on, bear with me. Parcel delivery.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just going to stall right now and have a look. I'm talking to the camera right now. I'm on my own. I don't know what I'm doing on Google Hangouts. I'm going to have a look at the chat, which I don't think there's anyone that's joined it. So we've got 2 viewers, but I don't know if that's just me and Guy. So it might just be me and him alone. Okay. Here he is. Okay.
It wasn't even a parcel for me.
Oh,
I know.
What? You should have said we're live. We're live on Google Hangouts.
Yeah, what are you doing disturbing?
What are you doing?
Should have put a sign up.
Yeah, you should have. That is totally your fault. Okay, so you think you could even make a few quid from like a minute, a couple of minutes, and like a lot of things, the more you do it, the quicker you get, the easier it is. So I'll chip in with my penny's worth because I've been doing it for a month. I've noticed that it was slow to start off with, and because the money I was spending, the equivalent time that I'd spend on Kindle, I was thinking initially, God, this isn't worth it. This isn't worth me spending like half an hour to sign on to make 10 quid. I can make so much more on Kindle. But I did think in the back of my head, you'll get quicker at it. It will get easier. Guys told you it would as well. Just persevere. Just see what you can get in a month. And I've definitely noticed that it's got quicker. Working out the odds, jumping in between the sites, making notes of it all, signing up. It does take a bit of time, but I think from doing 1 month of it and doing barely like 10, 15 minutes a day, not even that, you do get a lot quicker even on that low scale. Okay, let's have a look. What was the next question? Okay, so let's flip this around a little bit. I've gone from the beginner kind of standpoint. What about someone that's got like loads of time? Maybe even like someone like me, they work for themselves. They can actually put in like 4-6 hours a day maybe. And they've got loads of, I said loads of money, but let's say they've got $5,000, cash sat there, ready to deploy in investments. They're thinking, I like the sound of this. Let's have some of this. 5K, 6 to 9 hours a day. How much do you think they can realistically earn a month?
Well, you pretty much described my situation there. So I've got almost exactly £5,000 spread out across the various accounts, and on a busy day, I could put in 6 to 9 hours on the day. So just look at my earnings. 1,600 last month, 2,200 the month before. That was a very good month because it was Cheltenham Festival. This month, I'm already at £450 in the first week. So that's probably going to be another good 15, 16, maybe even £2,000 this month. So if you have more time, you can definitely do more of the offers, and you can do more of the recurring offers as well. So I know a lot of people think that it is only the sign-up offers, but I haven't done a sign-up offer in 3-4 months now. It's all just the recurring offers. Okay, well let's tackle that question because thank you for it was Felice Pazzo. I think I've said that name right. Sorry if I haven't. What happens after you've registered with every bookmaker site? Have all the introductory bets and had all the introductory bets on offer? I.e., how likely are you to realistically make £8,000 in 6 months again, from month 6 to 12, month 12 to 18, or year 2, year 3? I mean, can you realistically be earning the money you're earning now in 3 years' time? I think you're going to be earning more, to be honest, because once you've signed up for all the sites, they are going to send you promotional emails with special offers almost on a daily basis. And so if you've signed up for 50 sites, you're going to get 50 emails from which you can cherry pick and choose which ones are the most valuable and going to take the least amount of time. I talk about it, a bit about it on the Match Betting Guy blog, where I talk about, for instance, the first goal scorer offer, which is a special offer that William Hill do on every single football match. It's every single football match in the world, So all you're doing is you're sat there waiting for a good match on the odds to come up, and you can hit that. It doesn't matter where or when the football match is. It's on indefinitely, forever. loads of the sites do special offers where if you place a bet, they'll give you another free bet on the in-play football match and all the big English football matches. So there'll be maybe 10 of those a week, just going on forever again. You know, there's loads and loads of offers. Once you've signed up for all the sites, you'll start to see all the offers come through into your inbox, and that's when you can really pick and choose the most valuable ones to do. So I definitely think it's sustainable. I said it gets easier, to be honest. You just look at the amounts I was earning. Probably November to December was when I was doing my sign-up offers, and I made 900 and 1100, I think, in those 2 months. Well, I haven't done a sign-up offer since then, and I'm now making more.
Okay, you can't really argue that, I suppose, and that's a very fair point. So the longer that you're doing this, the quicker you get, the more offers that you've got because you have the accounts open, and the more things you know what to go for as well. So it speeds up the whole process. From an earning standpoint, from what you've experienced, you earn more money the longer you're doing it rather than just going through the signups.
Yes, absolutely.
I've got a question which is going back just ever so slightly to the previous question, which was about kind of this money and time thing. So let's say if someone's got shitloads of time, but maybe they don't have a lot of money, or they're not prepared to, be putting it into this, they still feel, despite this talk, that it's a little risky. Which is more advantageous? Is it putting the time in but having low overhead, so maybe having 100 quid to get started, or is it better to have £1,000 behind you to give it a go, but like me, maybe putting 15 minutes a day in? What's going to earn more?
So the problem with if you start with a very small bank is that you're only going to be able to do one offer at a time. So you're going to have to place a bet. You're then going to have to wait for that football match to finish before you can then reuse that money on another bet. And if your bet happened to win with the bookmaker, some of them can take up to 5 days before they pay you the money out. So you've essentially you can't place any bets for those 5 days. So it doesn't matter how much time you've got.
Right.
If you've only got £100 bank, you're only ever going to be able to do one offer at a time, and it's going to take you a long time. You've just done a sign-up offers. You're going to be able to do maybe 5 a month, and that's it. So the two work together. If you've got a bigger bank, you can do more offers at once, and so you can get through much quicker, and so your earnings will be coming in much quicker. If you have a small bank or you've only got a small amount of time, you're only going to be able to do one offer at a time, and it's going to take you a lot longer.
So the ideal situation, which I suppose isn't a surprise, is to have both, to try and dedicate more time to it, but also to have the money behind you. But if you're going to pick and choose, then really it's better to have a little bit more money behind you in the lay account, so you can put more bets on at once to benefit from more money coming in.
Absolutely. So the way most people start it up is they say, right, I'm going to put £300. I started with £300. I said, you know what, I've got £300 spare this month. I'm just going to put that into this new bank account I've set up, and that is going to be my float. And then over the next few months, as I made money, I wasn't withdrawing it. I was essentially reinvesting it as you would like a share, for instance. I was putting that to build up my lay banks, so that now I've got about £4,000 in the lay banks and about £1,000 that I use for putting into the bookie accounts. But it just means that I can hit more offers at once.
And so, okay, I started with £1,000. You started with 300. What would, if you went back and you could speak to Guy in November, would you do it differently? I mean, what would you recommend starting with?
I probably wouldn't have started with any more or any quicker, just because at that stage you want to make sure you know what you're doing. I mean, if I went back and say I could open up a whole brand new set of accounts right now, so, from today, I haven't got a single bookmaker account, but I know exactly what I'm doing as I do now. I'd probably start with a bank of about £2,000, and I'd be opening up 20 accounts a day.
Right, okay. You would get after it.
I would absolutely hammer it. Because I said, the quicker you get the account set up, the quicker you start getting access to their recurring offers as well.
Okay, and then you have more money potential, more income potential then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now that's good. But I mean, you're still saying here, you start with 300 quid. You can, people that might still be, a bit more risk averse, you can go in with a couple hundred quid. It's just going to take you longer and you'll earn less, but it's still, mathematically you're going to earn money.
Yeah, you can probably go in with £100 to start with, I think is the absolute minimum to be able to not waste the free bets that they're giving you. I'd say about £100. That would let you do one offer at a time. Sign up for one of the sites that I recommend, like Profit Accumulators, got a good one. They've got a free trial as well, and they will talk you through the first 2 offers. So you use that £100 from those first 2 offers, you will make maybe £40 profit. You should then have £140. You then do the next offer, you're going to have £180. The next offer, you're going to have £250. So you can start low. It will just take you a bit longer because you can only do one better at a time. And to be honest, I think a lot of people that I know who have started with very small banks, they've ended up getting frustrated at themselves because they wanted to do the next offer, and they say, you know what, I can see this is working, so I'm happy to put in another 100, happy to put in another 100, and and they do invest more of their money because they know it's working. They don't want to wait a week for it to all withdraw out of the bookmaker, so they put in a bit more of their own, because once they've done the first few offers, and it's risk free, and you're going to make money off of it.
I mean, that's a really good point. Like, it hasn't got to be black and white here, is it? That, I went in with £1,000. I just took, after speaking to you, I just went for, all right, let's give this a go. And taking your advice, I thought it's better that I have more money behind me rather than knowing the fact I'm kind of cut up on time. But you don't need one or the other. You can just try it, get a bet out there, see how you get on with that. If you can see the return and see how easy the process is, and if you're comfortable with that, then you can plan more money in. You haven't got to wait for anything else. Those accounts you can update whenever you're feeling comfortable to put more in. So start low and just then ramp it up whenever you depending on your comfort level, your time, and the money you have aside to put into it.
Yeah, exactly that. And at any time that you decide you want to stop, all you do is you just withdraw your money from the sites. It's not like a share where your share could absolutely nosedive and you've lost everything. That money is sat with those bookmakers, and if you're not using it for bets, it's essentially just sat in a bank account. It's the same thing, and you could withdraw it at any time. If you need that money, you just withdraw it out of the bookmaker site.
Okay, I've got a question about this with all these bookmaker sites as well. Well, no, sorry, I haven't. Felice has asked a second question. Is this all likely to impact your credit rating?
So whenever you open up a new account with these guys, they do a soft credit search, which is anti-money laundering, because you think this could be a quite easy way for people to launder money. They put money in, they do a match bet or just a normal gamble, and then they take clean money out. So they do soft searches, which show up on your credit file only to you. You'll be able to see these soft searches. They won't affect your normal credit rating. The thing that might do, though, is if you are using your main bank account for this, and if you apply for a mortgage and they want to see 3 months worth of statements, and they're going to see hundreds of pounds coming in and out going to the bookmaker sites, even though you're making a profit, it makes you look like a gambler, and so they might be a bit more risky. So the general advice is to take your 200 starting money, open up a brand new bank account specifically for it, and then don't pay in your normal salary into that bank account. So if you did want to do a search, if you did have to hand over the statements, you just hand over your main normal bank account. And incidentally, I just remortgaged in January, and not a single problem at all. And I've been absolutely hammering the accounts and hammering the match betting, and didn't have a hit on the credit score whatsoever.
Well answered question, and thanks for that, Guy. Good explanation. 16 is from Weenie from Quietly Saving, and she asks, which type of match betting or market do you use the most?
So normally it's mostly football, horses, and greyhound racing. Football's the easiest because there's a lot of football matches on. There's loads of different markets on them, all sorts of odds, and there's a lot of liquidity in it. So the way match betting works on the lay bets is you have to have money that other people are betting for your bet to basically be matched up against. If you were to bet on something really obscure like a South African horse race, there isn't really much money in it, and so you can't get your bet matched on it. So mostly the big football matches, but also horses. And I'm starting to hit the greyhounds a lot more now. So £50 of my profit from last night was on 3 greyhound races, which I wouldn't recommend anyone touches until they've been doing it a while, because the odds move very, very quickly on there. You've literally got about 10 seconds to place your bet when the odds match.
Oh, right. Okay. So that's something to kind of work up to if you're a bit more experienced and you've got some confidence and you want some other earning potential.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, stick to the football because the odds move much, much slower. And I mean, if anyone's interested, just go onto Betfair and go onto their exchange section on the website. You don't even have to sign in, and you can see the odds there, and you can see how the odds are moving, and just look at the difference between a really big football match compared to a greyhound or a horse race that's due to start soon, and you'll see how quickly the odds are moving between the two, and it's much slower for the football matches, so it's easier to start on the football matches.
Okay. I've got a question for my fiance Lou, who's because I've talked her through this, And I said, look, as a beginner, someone that's kind of interested in it, have you got any questions? And she just said, actually, I think you might be answering it now, but do you not get like higher odds or better odds by looking at the less popular sports, like, you know, overseas underwater horse racing? You're saying that, okay, the odds might be higher on certain matches. You might get a one-off, but you're not going to get the match on the lay side of it. It's harder to get a match.
Yeah, correct. So, and the other thing as well is it might look a bit suspicious. So if you sign up for a brand new account and then you suddenly chuck £200 on a Argentinian third division football team, you know, like a women's football team, it's going to look suspicious. It's not going to look like a normal sort of bet that a normal person would place. So the odds could be perfect for your match betting and it could give you a lot of profit. But the bookmaker is going to take a look at it and go, hang on a minute, what's this guy doing? And similarly, if you're placing a £50 bet on Manchester United to win one week, and then you're placing a £50 bet on Manchester United to lose the next week, that's going to look suspicious as well. It's not what a normal sort of regular bettor would do. So I mean, I was guilty of this when I started. I placed a £200 bet on some Dutch second division team. The bookmaker banned me the next day because it looked suspicious, and it was suspicious. You know, I didn't really know what I was doing. So stick to the big main markets and have a think about how it's going to look in their records when you're doing it. Are you going to look like a normal, regular punter, which is what they want? They want normal, regular gamblers because they tend to lose money, whereas we tend to make money.
So that was my question. What does it matter? What's it their concern if you look like something else? But they'll actually stop you from betting, so you can get your money back. Then I'm guessing, but they won't allow you to take out the offers that they have.
Exactly that. So the way I always described it to people was, imagine Tesco had a 80% off on lemonade offer, and you went into the shop and you bought all of their lemonade, the whole stock at 80% off, set up a stall outside their shop and sold it for 50% off. You know, why would they care? They've managed to sell their lemonade, but they're realizing that you are taking value from them. So even though they've sold all their lemonade, they could be selling it at better value, and you're taking that money off of them effectively. So they won't, when you get banned, they don't completely ban you most of the time. They'll just stop you from getting the free offers. So you can still get your money out and you could still place normal bets with them if you wanted to, but you wouldn't be eligible for any of the free bets, which makes it, you know, pretty pointless from a match betting standpoint.
Because that's what you're there to do, to get those free bets, to get the profit.
What we're there to do is to use their free bets. We're using their money, so their risk, to place bets that then we don't care which way it goes because it's at no risk to us.
Okay, so my next question, I think, is links in a little bit, is what's the most frustrating element, or maybe the biggest hurdle to overcome in match betting? So that it sounds like that's one of them. So can you just quickly go over how you would avoid that again, and some other elements, you know, the more frustrating things that people need to be aware of?
Yeah, so I mean, you're completely at the mercy of these bookmakers as with regards to getting the special offers. So at any time they could email you for any reason, just say, you know what, we're not going to give you any more special offers from now on. There's theories online about how and why they do it, but ultimately they just look at your betting patterns and they think, are you a normal, regular bettor? The way around it, as I said, is stick to the big main sort of football matches. Don't put £200 on a second division Dutch team that's playing at 3 o'clock in the morning or anything stupid like that. And also every now and then we do things called mug bets, which is just where you're placing a normal bet which has nothing to do with a special offer. So there might be a special offer on the Liverpool football game. So you place your bet on the Liverpool football game, but then whilst you're at it, go place another bet on the Manchester United match, which doesn't have a special offer on it. Because then you're looking like you're more of just a normal gambler, and you're not only doing it on the matches that have the special offers.
Okay, and would you advise that early on, or maybe later on down the road?
So there's no point doing it when you're doing the initial sign-up offers. You know, you're not really going to be on their radar. If you're hitting the recurring offers regularly, like I said, the first goal scorer one is a great example. Sort of change your stake size as well. So don't always bet the maximum amount of the free bet that will give you. So most of them are normally, they'll give you a refund as a free bet. So up to a certain amount, like £50. So maybe just do £40 or do £35 every now and then, sort of mix it up a bit.
Okay. And any other hurdles people need to be aware of?
You've got to remember that if your bet does win with the bookmaker, it can take up to 5 days to get your money back out of the bookmaker. So if you haven't got a large bank, you're effectively hamstrung there. And also think about it that the higher the odds, the more money it could win with the bookmaker, and so the more you'll lose out of your lay account. So I once placed a £300 bet at odds of 6, which is pretty unlikely, but it went and won. So that was £1,800 went out of my lay accounts straight into a not very well known online bookmaker. And needless to say, I was a bit worried as to how long and whether that money was then going to come back out again. I mean, it did, but for a week I was almost £2,000 down. So make sure you don't need quick access to that money if it was to win with the bookmaker.
Yeah, that's a sensible shout. I had I can't remember which one was it now. Was it Vernon Sports? Or no, I think it was Marathon Bet. And the same thing happened to me. I think I put like a 6-1 bet on, which is for those of you that don't know gambling, it's quite unlikely. And it actually happened, and I won the money in that account. And they were saying then that my IP address was not the same IP address that signed in, and that they weren't able to withdraw the money. I thought, what the hell is going on? So I had to actually go out go into a different, go in from a different IP address to actually draw that money out. I had to go to my parents' house when I was there to draw it out. It did come out, it was all okay, but like you said, there's that little moment of like, holy shit, I've got some money in there, and is this because it wasn't a well-known account, am I going to be able to get it back? And it was all okay, it worked out, but you want to make sure that you're not doing that with money that you could protect, that you don't need straight away. Like you said, the access is really important. So just to kind of bet or invest this money within your means, I suppose, like any investment.
And what I'd recommend as well is, say you start off with £200. Once you've been doing it for a few weeks and you've made over £200 profit, take that £200 out of that account and just put it back into your personal account. And then you know that no matter what, even if everything went, badly, you haven't lost any money because you've taken out that initial seed money you put in anyway, just for your own peace of mind.
So how often do you take your money out then, Guy?
I've started taking it out a lot now, because I think £5,000 is definitely enough across the accounts. I don't need any more in my lay accounts because I'm never going to be placing that volume of bets. So what I do at the end of every month now is any money I've got over £5,000, I take out and I put into my personal account for other use, like paying off a mortgage or buying shares with. But when I was starting off for the first few months, I didn't take anything out. I just kept on building up. Every time it won with the bookmaker, I take out a bookmaker and then put it straight back into the Betfair exchange.
Okay, and we're coming near the end now. Just got a couple of questions to ask. Number 19 was, do you recommend any tools, sites, articles, anything like that on match betting that people can go and check out?
Yeah, so I recommend a couple of sites. If you go to matchbettingguide.com, I've got a couple of sites that I recommend using there. But you've got two main advantages with using a site and paying for a site. I know some people are reluctant to pay for access to a site. First one is, most of the sites will have guides which will sort of step you through the first offers. So they really will hold your hand through it. Especially Profit Accumulator is very, very good at doing the initial signups and literally telling you step by step what it is you need to do. The other thing is they will list every single recurring offer or special offer as and when they come up. So you don't have to trawl through 50 different websites looking at their promotions page to see what offers are on. You look at one centralized page and it will just say, right, here's the date, here's the day, here's the offers that are on today, here's the ones that you want to be doing. And I mean, they're absolutely worth their weight in gold. They're so good. And the amount of time you'll save from being a member of one of these sites is great. And you also get access to their forums where people will be posting other offers that, aren't very well known, or people will be answering questions on what's the best way that I can exploit this offer, what's the best way I can extract money out of this specific special offer. So take a look at the sites I recommend page on the blog there. And it's the two that I use. I use Profit Accumulator for sort of news, getting started, and then move on to Profit Maximiser, which is a bit more complicated, but much better at the recurring and more complicated, bigger offers.
Okay, so how much are these to sign in? If people are interested listening to this call and want to give it a go, how much have they got to spend on these things?
So Profit Accumulator's got a free trial, which lets you do the first 2 sign-up offers. Once you've done that, you can then either pay, it's about £23 a month or £150 for the year. And Profit Maximiser is £120 for the year. That one is he hasn't got a free trial, but he's got a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you have a look at it and just decide it's not for you, he'll just give you the money back.
Okay, so I went down that approach, Maximiser. I would agree with you. I think, to be completely honest, I think the site is a little sloppy. I think that you see regular spelling mistakes. It's not that easy for someone that's coming in to start with, but I've got used to it, and I do get those daily emails, and there's just too many bets. I can't get through all of the things that are on offer. So if I do apply more time to it, I think the opportunities are huge there. So from someone that's gone onto the Profit Maximiser one, which, as guys explained, is maybe the one that's a little bit more detailed, I've got the hang of it from someone that's done nothing like this before, and I use it, and I would recommend it too, for what that's worth. And knowing that I could get my money back if I didn't like it, that was going too. So okay, I want to just be devil advocate here. Let's say, no, I don't want to be shelling out more money for this. I'm still a little bit unsure. I mean, do you really need them?
No, if you're literally just going to do the sign-up offers, there's loads of websites online, like Money Saving Expert's got a forum dedicated to it, and you can literally just work your way down the list. So all of this information that they collect is available online. It's purely a time-saving thing and a bit of a hand-holding exercise saying, here's how you want to exploit this offer. I mean, anybody can go and sign up for William Hill and do it themselves if you're prepared to do the research and read through all the small print and whatever. Or you can just pay £23 for 1 month's access and hit all of the sign-up offers. This site will give you all of the terms that there are, and just hold your hand through it. It's a time-saving exercise, really.
So, and the money is the time. So I'm just putting this all together, what you've talked about. So the fact that when you start off with, people are brought into the sign-up offers. So if you sign up to a new account, you put in 10 quid, you get 30 back or something. You know, this is easy money. So that's what people think match better initially. But you're saying, for your experience and from your results, you've earned more further down the line, 6 months, off the back of these reoccurring offers, when you have loads of accounts and loads of profits during that time and loads of experience and understanding and speed through the process. So really, the time exercise thing is a really interesting point, because yes, it's an extra 150 quid, but this is why I went for it. It was 120, 30 quid. I went for it because I wanted the time, because I knew I wasn't going to have a huge amount of time to dedicate to it. And I can see the appeal on those emails coming in now, and he just gives you a headshot of, hey, look, William Hill, bet 10, get a free 20, or whatever it is, or free spins here. So it's really clear and concise. You don't have to be looking around for that. And for, you know, what is it, 10 quid a month or something like that, the equivalent as a sign up, maybe 15 quid a month. You earn that back in one bet. Or 2 bets, which I do in a day or two, and that's someone that doesn't do a lot. So for me, if I were countering that as well, I think it makes a lot of sense just to sign up to one of them to give it a go, because the time will allow you to earn so much more than your money back. I just don't think it's as worth doing it on your own. You might as well have the experience from people you can help, and the forums and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the forums that I use a lot now as well. So you know, if you get stuck, you just chuck up there, and you've got 5,000 people who have got eyes on it, and they're so helpful as well. And also, people are great at finding decent matches. So the site might tell you about the offer, but if you look on the forum, someone will say, hey guys, look, this is a great odds match. You know, this is really good. And it saves you the effort of having to look yourself. You know, you might have never thought to go and look on that match or that market within that match, whereas someone's taken the time to do it already. They've placed their bet, and then they paste it up and say, right guys, here's a great match. You want to be on this one. And that will actually save you money, because you're getting a much closer odds match as well. So it saves you time, and it's going to save you a bit of money, because you're going to get the better odds matches.
It makes total sense. I want to be wrapping up soon. I can see here we've got, it flashes between 2 and 3 viewers. I don't know if me and you are 2 viewers, by the way. It might just be me and you talking, which is absolutely fine, because I'm going to record this and put it on YouTube anyway. But if there are some viewers present, I've got the group chat up as well. So if you've got any questions, drop them in the group chat, and I'll put it to Guy now before we shoot. But the last two that I've got, the first one is, look, someone wants to try match betting out. They like what you're saying here. They think it's worth giving it a go. They haven't got a lot of cash, a couple hundred quid. They're still a little bit nervous about it. what advice have you got just to get them kickstarted? What would you suggest that they do?
I'd recommend you go for the free trial on Profit Accumulator. You don't even have to do the bets. Even if you sign in and they'll talk you through them, just put the figures into the calculator and say, right, if this was to happen, this is going to be the outcome. Before you even place anything, you can run it all through it, and the calculators will tell you what your outcome is going to be down to the penny. So if you're a bit nervous, it's a free trial. You know, it'll get you the first 2 bets. It'll talk you through it. The first bet, I think, is like a £10. You put in £10, so you need about £100 on your lay account. But just play around with the calculators, play around with the figures, and if you do have any questions, or if you're thinking of doing a bet and you know it's not on for a few hours and you just want to run it through, chuck it up on one of the forums, or send me a message on the blog. Just put a comment on there, and I'll check it through for you, no problem.
So on someone's hungry as hell, they love the sound of match betting off the back of what we talked about. They want to ramp it up a little bit. They're confident they've got money and time. What would you recommend?
I'd recommend that you chuck £1,000 into a Betfair account, get your lay exchange, sign up for one of the sites, go for the full year access, and then literally start working your way down the Bookmaker list. So each of these sites has a list of Bookmaker opening offers, normally in order as well of how difficult they are to how complicated. So you've got the really simple ones at the top, and literally just start working your way down the list. As soon as you've completed one offer, cross off straight onto the next one.
Cool. Okay. Well, Guy, I've got the group chat. But I don't know if no one's got any questions because we've answered them, or if there's no one here watching it. But either way, we haven't got any. So just to wrap things up, where can you just go through finally where we can find you, where we can contact you if we've got any other questions on match betting?
So I'm www.matchbettingguy.com. It's all one word. You can just leave comments on the blog site there, or if you want to email me, it's Guy, Guy, at matchbettingguy.com, or you can go onto the Early Retirement Guy site or email me there at guy@earlyretirementguy.com.
Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your expertise. Keep rocking it. Keep letting us know how you're getting on with match betting. And I think you guys have taken some value from this, and you can earn a few quid. I'm going to drop the earnings and expenses sheet that Guy uses in the YouTube and on my blog. And I'll put the links to Guy's match betting site and also his finance blog for those of you that are interested. So thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.
Cool. See ya.